Hey guys, so we have been hanging out here at this beautiful lake in Nevada for the past few days. And yesterday we were sitting outside reading our books and we noticed an RV that pulled in and started driving down towards us. And we were pretty excited because it ended up being Jessie from A Girl and Her Commander. She's on Instagram, so if you're not following her already, be sure and jump on and give her a follow. She's a female solo traveler and she's been living in her 1970s Commander for the past, I think, year and a half. So we were pretty excited to meet her in person and hang out for the past couple of days. And now we're wondering if maybe she'll give us a little tour of her awesome rig. So let's go see if she'll let us in. Hello!
Hi! Can we come see your motorhome?
Absolutely! Come on in!
Tell us a little bit, why did you choose Mander?
Oh boy, do you want to come in and
Close the door.
yeah, do a good slam. There you go. I chose Mander because she was in my budget and also because she has a nice vintage look. And I have always loved old vehicles, and I believe in, instead of just throwing them away, that you can give them new life.
It's perfect. That's the same reason why we chose Luna, because it was, you know, it's a retired bus and she was going to pretty much die otherwise if we didn't give her new life. So,
yeah.
So where did you start with Mander? Like, what did she look like beforehand?
She was a disaster. I used to have like cabinet doors back there, and there was flying ducks on the outside of the cabinet doors. There was a ton of water damage. Everything was very like a yellow beige, lots of layers of gross carpet. Yeah, it's pretty. I polished the turd well, let's say. But yeah, nice coat of white paint, and then I did new countertop, new sink. I did a backsplash. I remodeled this area, and it had like your typical camper setup where it was a table that dropped down, and then there was another bed. And so I got rid of that and changed it so I could have a more open area, and this flips up and gives you more table room or cooking space. And then I made it so I could have my litter box in here, and they have their like access door, and I can get the litter box from outside. And I did quite a bit of like remodel action back here. From here over, I built on as an addition so I could have a spot to put my toilet and have more storage room. And yeah, this used to be another sink and like a bathroom vanity, and I knew I didn't need two sinks or that storage. This is actually more useful storage than the vanity was. So I just extended the bathroom so I could live more comfortably in here. And then the back bedroom area is where all the water damage was. And so I had this torn down to the aluminum on the ceiling and on that wall, and so I had to rebuild the ceiling and the wall, and then I had to build this bed platform. This wasn't back here either. Built out that ledge, and yeah, just turned it more into, I think originally in 1978, that's what year this camper is, this was another table that would drop down, and then it had horseshoe seating around it, and I think that it turned into like a king size bed back here, but none of that existed when I got Mander, so it was just kind of an open space. I'm not sure when it lost its table and seating back here, but it was pretty empty, and I'm not sure he knew how bad the water damage was, because I checked for it before I bought her, and then I knew I could see some, but I didn't know how bad it was until I started tearing into it, and so that's when it revealed itself.
Of course.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh shit, I've really gotten in over my head now.
And it's always like this turns out to be like way more work than what was originally expected. But I think that's kind of like the lesson for anybody that does their own conversion.
Yes.
Is it's always going to end up being way more work than what you think, you know, based upon like what Instagram shows you and makes it seem like it's this easy, perfect process. But
you will always get to that moment where you will wonder if you have made a terrible, terrible decision. And you just have to keep going.
Perfect. So is this kind of like, would you say, the main space that you typically spend the most time in?
For sure.
Because I mean, that's how it's turned out for us. Is it's like, you know, we designed the multiple different areas within the bus, so we each kind of had our own space, but we inevitably find ourselves, I mean, the bed is like the most comfortable area.
Yes, I almost made this space too comfortable. And with all these windows, I feel like I'm just in like a sun porch. So I find myself sometimes like, I'm not even compelled to go outside.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, I'll just open my windows. I got all of the draft coming through and a cushy bed to lay on. And so
I will say, like, that's one of the things that I noticed about Mander was all like just like Luna. It's all of the windows. And it lets in so much light, and it feels way bigger than really what it actually is. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people who are doing conversions, it's like this double-edged sword, because you lose a lot of heat because of all the windows. But like, I honestly would rather have all of that lighting than the heat. So it's
and if you're
like,
doing it right, you're traveling with the weather anyway.
Exactly.
So you try to just avoid that. Try and stay in not any extreme temperatures, and then you're solid.
Yeah. And so to the left here, I'm just going to kick over into the bathroom. So this you've kind of got some drawers and a big closet.
This was one of the major selling points for me, for sure, because I absolutely love clothes and shoes, and that was one of the harder things for me to like whittle my possessions down. And so when I saw that she just originally had a decently large closet, I was like, sold! So yeah, I have like a shelf up there, I have hanging, I have some bins down here, and then 4 drawers. So there's plenty of room for my clothes addiction.
That's great.
It is very fun to thrift across the U.S.
And you've got the baskets for some more added storage space. And yeah, I mean, your closet's like more than probably both of ours put together. It's
great.
I mean, I guess that's like, you know, we all have the things that are kind of important to us, and, you know,
absolutely. I think a lot of people, it's the kitchen, and I really don't spend much time in the kitchen, so I didn't care that it was tiny. I was like, yeah, this is the motorhome for me, because it's got it where it counts.
Yep, there you go.
Absolutely.
And so speaking of kitchen, so you've got a decent sized refrigerator here.
Yeah. With the rig, and I was really happy because I know that these are really expensive, and it did break before I left. I ended up having to buy like a new computer component, but overall it's been working great ever since.
Plenty of space.
I got a lot of space there, and I got like a legit freezer, and so I have plenty of room to stock up and then go off grid for at least 2 or 3 weeks.
Nice.
Without having to get groceries again.
Nice. And then you've got old school microwave.
No, this is an oven.
What?
Everybody thinks it's a microwave.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep, they just put it up top.
Nice. So you've got the oven, you've got your multi-burner cooktop.
Yep.
And then nice little sink. And how much fresh water do you have on board?
I have 55 gallons of fresh water. Since the holding tank is from 1978, I don't drink out of it because who knows what is in that plastic from 1978. So I have 5, 6, 7, 8 gallons of like reverse osmosis drinking water that I cook with and consume, and then 55 gallons of fresh water for my dishes and brushing my teeth and you know, washing my hands and washing my face and other things like that.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah.
And then you've got like the space that we've already seen.
Yeah.
And then you've got your two fur kids.
The driver and the co-pilot.
It's perfect. Perfect.
That's Atreyu and that's Moochie.
Hi, Moochie.
Yeah, she's the one that likes to be the camera hog.
And I do really like the fact that you kept the shag carpet up here.
Yep.
That's like one of the epic things about the vintage camper.
Yeah, so many people give me shit for that. They're like, that is so disgusting. And I'm like, oh, please. Like, I did a carpet cleaner on it before I left, and you got to have a little, like, testament to
Absolutely.
1978, you know?
And then up here, what is this?
This is a pull-down bed. I can't pull it down all the way unless I move the seats, but I can give you a little peek. So that drops down quite a ways. So that's a perfectly comfortable sleeping space for guests, and that's why I felt so comfortable getting rid of this other bed setup that it had. So I can sleep 3 in here comfortably.
Nice.
Yeah.
You love living in Mander, and you're kind of just chilling on your own. And what's your favorite part about that?
Well, I mean, I would say the freedom for sure. Like, I've always been a, like, very willful person, and I always just, like, want to do what I want to do. And I did realize that the first solo trip I ever took was to Colorado, and I spent the whole time just hiking and doing whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and the freedom in that was, like, so liberating. I was just like, this is the happiest I've ever been. And that was actually what planted the seed to do something like this. I didn't know it at the time that it was going to manifest into this, but I was definitely like, why can't I just make my life more like this? You know, like, what's stopping me from being the happiest I've ever been? Like, all of these ingredients seem like a recipe I could work with.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that just, like, I don't know, it's hard for me to understand how, like, people rely on other people so much for happiness. Like, oh, don't you, like, what are you, like, hiking alone or, like, doing all these things? Aren't you lonely? Aren't you scared? And I'm like, no, that's when I feel the happiest. I'm just like, yes, the whole world is my oyster. I don't have to worry about anybody's feelings. Like, I can just, if I want to stop and stare at this rock for 15 minutes, it's not going to irritate anybody.
Yeah, like, that's true. That's very true. I think Adam probably could say that happens sometimes with his camera. I'm like, this hike that should have taken 15 minutes just took 3.5 hours because he's stopping to take a picture.
No, and I'm with Adam. I'm a slow-ass hiker. I love to just, like, soak it. Yeah,
oh, sure. I'm going to take 20 pictures of the same flower over and over and over again, different angles. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I have experienced that with people before where, like, they're out to hike for, like, exercise or they got somewhere to go, and I'm like, no, I want to mosey, I want to look at all the things, I want to take all the pictures. Like, that's just not my speed. So yeah, not having to, like, worry about tending to anybody else's needs really does feel like freedom to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of freedom in that. I know last night when we were all talking, you were saying that it's also, sometimes you'll see other people who are traveling, and ourselves included this first year, where it's like we bounce around so much, and how you like to stop in an area and really just hang out and immerse yourself and stay for a while and really enjoy everywhere you go, and you're not just, it's not like rushed.
Yeah,
nomadic
I like to
life.
live places.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't pass through or visit. I like to live. I like to feel like a local for a minute. But yeah, that feels really valuable to me, because I feel like that's what's missing from when people take vacations. Like, it often feels really hurried and like you're cramming all the things in that you want to do before you leave the place, and this lifestyle grants you the opportunity to just, like, fully engage, and if you fall in love with a place, stay there until you actually feel ready to move on. And I definitely love that, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And I also think that, like, me not loving driving definitely makes it so I stay in places longer. So I'm like, well, I'm pretty comfortable here, and the alternative is stressing out over driving, so I'll just keep staying here.
Right, and if it's a free spot and you're going to save on fuel and you're stocked up on water and food, why leave? That's going to be more the flow that we have next winter when we leave Washington. We're going to try and we're going to spend the winter in the Southwest, and we want to just go somewhere and hang out for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Just really enjoy the surroundings and just slow it down. This first 8 months of sort of road life we've just been bouncing around and rushing, because we're constantly trying to get back to the other side of the country, and now we're trying to, you know, get back up to Washington by a certain point. So it does feel rushed, and we're gonna have to, I think, take some pages from your book on that, because we need to slow down. It's just an adjustment to the lifestyle. It's a completely different lifestyle when you're used to that 9 to 5.
Yeah, it's part of that deprogramming.
Yes, programming. And we were also, last night, we were talking about how you were saying one of the things that you really love about the fact that you share so much of your lifestyle on social media are the messages that you'll get from people, especially like women.
Yeah,
so,
what a blessing!
Because you can also maybe combine a little bit of one of the pet peeves of some of the things that people like to say.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I didn't really realize going into this, that I was going to end up being kind of a warrior for women doing things on their own, and I didn't realize that there was still so many women out there that needed permission to do the stuff that they never thought they could do. Like, there's still a huge lack of just seeing that as an example, you know, like so many people with this lifestyle. I think specifically there's a lot of stuff on Instagram that portrays like perfect relationships, and like certainly not a lot of single women like doing the builds, and just like I think it's getting more and more, but there's a lack of it. And so I think a lot of women think, well, I can't do that until I have a boyfriend, or until I'm married, or until like all of these things line up and fit this like image. And I think that is so sad, because like time's not going to wait for you, you know, like if you have a dream, you should be making it happen regardless. And yeah, the fact that I get messages from women that are like, you know, I didn't even think that I could do an oil change until I saw you, and now like for the first time I'm going to try and do it. And that's just unbelievably touching to me, because I just feel like that's such an amazing gift to be given, to where like then that in turn fuels me to keep going, you know. So I'll have my days where I feel really burnt out and really like just spent on the struggle, and then I'll get a message like that, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to do it like for women. Like I just have to keep plugging along and creating this new narrative of like, we are capable, like we don't have to be afraid, we can do all the things that men can do if we want to, you know. Like it's up, like the capacity to do these things is on an individual basis, and has absolutely nothing to do with gender. And so that's just, it's really cool that has been such a significant part of this journey for me. I really love it.
Were there any other questions you wanted us to?
I guess like my main thing is like, what would be your like number one advice that you would give to somebody who wanted to go in this lifestyle? And then secondly to that, what made you choose to go this route? I know you said it was kind of like a budget thing, but go the Mander route versus like doing like a van or a bus or a trailer.
Yeah, so, well, I'll answer that one's easier, so I'll answer that one first. I picked a motorhome because I didn't have a truck. And a schoolie was too big for me, and a van was too small, because Atreyu is an odd cat in the sense that he gets very irritated when people or Munchie is in his personal space. So I knew that he needed a little bit more space to be happy and comfortable. And I also knew that if you're over 30 feet, you have a little bit more difficulty getting into the park systems and on some of the roads. So I knew I wanted to stay under 30 feet, but I couldn't go as small of a van. So that's why I ended up with a motorhome, just because, I mean, if I maybe would have gone with a Class C motorhome and gone a little bit smaller if it wasn't for Atreyu's needs. But having my cats happy was for sure the most important thing, because their happiness means I can be happy. But yeah, and the layout of Mander not being a Class C means that she has this, like, the front part of her is more open to the back part of her, so it's like just a continuation versus like the separateness where there's like a truck front.
Yeah.
And so that meant my younger cat, has more room to zoomy back and forth, and it just felt more open for sure. And as far as the number one piece of advice, oh gosh. And it's funny because I struggle with this all the time still, like a year and a half into it, but be patient. Be patient with yourself, be patient with the road, be patient with the universe, just be patient and know that if you give yourself enough space and time, and if you travel slow, and if you are just like, allow there to be space for adjustment and growth and change and like adaptation and like all of this stuff. I mean, it's a huge change to live this lifestyle, and if you want to be successful at it, you have to just accept that it's going to take time, and to have that time not be terribly uncomfortable, you have to be patient and know that it will ultimately, the end game is going to be great. And I've just learned that lesson over and over and over again. There's been so many times where I'm like, this is it, you know, like I'm going to fall apart, like I can't do it, you know, just all of these things where you encounter these obstacles and these challenges and you feel like you're going to throw in the towel, or that it's like the worst thing ever and you can't possibly make it through, even just like the build, you know, just the giant learning curve of the build. But I just hung in there and I was patient, and eventually I understood, and eventually I got through all of these challenges, and I'm still here alive and kicking, and I'm happy and I'm proud of myself, and you get all of these great reward feelings if you are just patient enough for the process to happen. And,
it's like your bumper sticker. Thank you for your patience.
Holy shit, I didn't realize that. Yes, I guess I'm really repping that merch.
Yeah.
Buy my bumper sticker.
We'll put a link to we'll put a link in the description of this video to a girl in her Commander Instagram page, so everybody can make sure they follow, and then the website where people can check out any merch that you have.
Yeah, so far it's just a bumper sticker that says thank you for your patience, because I'm probably a hindrance on the road.
Aren't we all?
But that's the thing. Sometimes I think our lifestyle maybe also helps teach other people to have patience.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just slow down, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate not everybody gets to live the lifestyle where they don't have anywhere to be at any particular time for the most part. Yeah. You know, we can drive slow vehicles and be fine with it, but other people, I'm like, I gotta get to my meeting, get out of my way, 1978 motorhome. And I'm like, do you see, this is like a slight incline. I'm topping out at 40 here. Like, it's just,
well, thank you so much for letting us come in and check out Mander. And
my pleasure.
I mean, we've seen it from the gram, you know, for so long, but it's great to actually see it in person and really get to experience it.
Yeah, I know. It makes me really want a smaller rig.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think you can see yourself in a 24-footer.
Yeah, because as long as there's still this runway, the bunnies, you know, they just need that runway strip where they can do their little blinkies. And the cat is pretty easy. She's just needs a runway. Yeah. For the rabbits to chase her.
It's out there to be had.
So
absolutely.
You never know. Smaller one in our future.
Yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed meeting Jessie and touring Mander. We plan to bring more of these tours to you in the future as we meet more like-minded folks on the road. If you like this video, make sure and give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions for us or Jessie, leave it in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss more videos in the future. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Hey guys, so we have been hanging out at this beautiful lake in Nevada for the past... Okay, I got it.
So we hope that you enjoyed this tour of Jessie and Mander.
Fuck, I could get my brain straight. I hope you're not still recording.
Yep.
Okay.
Gotta get the bloopers.
Yeah, okay.